Today's lesson, solving absolute value equations. Not too bad. Make sure you know how to do it because we're going to do absolute value inequalities next, and it's very challenging. So how do we notate absolute value function? That's the two vertical lines. So for example, if it was absolute value of -2, it's always positive. And what does it mean in terms of a number line? Well, it's the distance from 0. For example, number line, 0, -1, -2. How far away are we from 0? Well, if you measure that, you'd get 2, which is why we got 2 here. So it's always a positive number. Now, how do we solve absolute value of x equals 11? Well, just looking at it, there's two possible answers. You would say that x could equal 11, because 11 equals 11, or x could equals -11, because the absolute value of -11 also equals 11. So here's how we solve it. We break it into 2. We just go plus minus. X could equal 11, or x could equal -11. That might seem a little too simple, so let's do some examples. And I will leave that up just enough. The rules are here. An important part here, if an absolute value is equal to a negative, there's no solution. Why is that? I'll let you guys figure it out in a minute. So break it into 2. Leave the inside alone. And then go plus minus. So we went plus here, minus here. So solve. Add 3 to both sides. X equals 11. Add 3 to both sides. X equals -5. Check your work. -5 minus 3 is -8. Absolute value is 8. Good. 11 minus 3 is 8. Absolute value of 8 is 8. Works beautifully. Try another one. Now, rules up above say get the absolute value alone. So there's nothing added to the outside of it or multiplied to the outside of it. This one's got the 2 here. So you have to divide both sides by 2. And you get the absolute value of x minus 1 equals -2. And that is where you want to start. So now you break it into 2. You get x minus 1 equals -2. Didn't change it at all. X minus 1 equals -2, also known as +2. Add 1. X equals -1. Add 1. X equals 3. And that's it. So the key there is making sure you get the absolute value alone first. Looking at this next one, we have to deal with the -5 and the 3. Well, since equations, we do the plus minus first. Let's add 5 to both sides. 3 times 2x minus 7 equals 9. Still not having the absolute value alone means we have to divide by 3. So 2x minus 7 equals 3. Break it into 2. 2x minus 7 equals 3. 2x minus 7 equals -3. Add 7. Add 7. Add 7. Add 7. 2x equals 10. Divide by 2. X equals 5. 2x equals -3 plus 7, 4. Divide by 2. X equals 2. Plug it back in and check. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 7 is -3. Absolute value is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 5 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10, minus 7 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 5 is 4. Both work. Don't think we ever checked these. -1 minus 1 is -2. Absolute value is 2 times 2 is not -4. Hey, this doesn't work. We got down to x minus 1 equals -2. We immediately stop and say no solution. Why is that? Because an absolute value can never equal a negative number. So this is the favorite kind of problem. Once you recognize it, you're done. You don't have to do any work. Hope you guys caught that. If not, you should have. Now the tricky ones. We just did this one. Absolute value of x equals 6. Broke it. X equals 6. X equals negative 6. Done. Now the hard part, doing it with an inequality. Very tricky. We'll spend a lot of time in class practicing these. Make sure you know what you're doing. Absolute value of x is less than or equal to 6. We break it into 2. X is less than or equal to 6. Leave it alone. X, my apologies, we have to change the other side now. So one side doesn't change. The other side, we put the negative with the x. And we do that because when we divide, we have to flip the sign. So we get x is less than or equal to 6, and x is greater than or equal to negative 6. Always put it on a number line. Now we're dealing with negative 6 to 6. Everything in between. Let's check we did it right. 0 less than or equal to 6? Yes. Negative 5 less than or equal to absolute value of negative 5 less than or equal to 6. Yes. Looks like we did this one correctly. Now, whenever you have a less than, and it could be equals, or less than and equal, you're going to have a answer that looks like this at the bottom. You're going to be bracketed answers, or interval answer. Whenever you have a greater than, you'll have 2 arrows. And let's see if I'm correct. Let's take this problem, break it into 2. One, we don't touch at all. X is greater than or equal to 2. The other, we put the negative on this side now. We solve. Negative 1 divided by negative 1. X is less than or equal to negative 2. So let's graph. Get 2, negative 2. And notice we get 2 arrows. X is less than or equal to negative 2. Goes this way. X is greater than 2. Goes that way. So you get the 2 arrows when you have a greater than. You get an interval when you have a less than. Watch out for your negatives. Let's do some practice. These are hard. You need a lot of practice. Break it in 2. X is less than or equal to 8. Negative x is less than or equal to 8. Divided by negative 1. X is greater than or equal to negative 8. Now it's a less than, so we should have things on the inside. 8, negative 8. Greater than negative 8, less than 8. Beautiful. Fill in the dots. There we go. Now divide by 2. Absolute value of x minus 1 greater than or equal to 2. Break it into 2 pieces. So we get x minus 1 greater than or equal to 2. It's a greater than now, so we should get 2 arrows. This one's very tricky. Negative x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 2. Divide by negative 1. X minus 1 is less than or equal to negative 2. Plus 1. X is less than or equal to negative 1. For graphing that, we better get 2 arrows. We got, I never finished this side. X is greater than or equal to 3. X is less than or equal to negative 1. Negative 1, 3. So greater than 3 or equal to, fill it in. Over here. Less than or equal to negative 1. Over here. So now we have a less than, we should have a interval. got to get this absolute value alone. Subtract 5 from both sides. Negative 3 times 2x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 9. Divide by negative 3. Absolute value of 2x minus 7 is greater than. Why did I flip the sign? Because we divided by a negative. So now I would expect 2 arrows down here at the bottom whenever I get my answer. Break it into 2. 2x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 3. Negative 2x minus 7 greater than or equal to 3. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. 2x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 3. Add 7. 2x is less than or equal to 4. Divide by 2. X is less than or equal to 2. Plus 7. 2x is greater than or equal to 10. Divide by 2. X is greater than or equal to 5. So, we said we should have 2 arrows based on this part right here. And let's see if we do. 2, 5. I want to go with a different color here. Fill it in, go in there, fill it in, go in there. Tricky stuff. You will need lots of practice. Hard to keep it straight. We're going to practice at least once before we review for the test. Good luck.